Konnichiwa. Hello. Okay, I was on my way to kill the evil scorpion in the desert. Also free, I changed the volume again. I'm still always trying to figure out what the perfect volume is, because when I tested, I'm doing it more readily, being a little bit more upright and trying to talk a little better. But when I'm in like the flow of playing, leaning back a little bit, relaxing, then I feel like my voice always goes a lot further down in volume. And you can kind of barely make it out behind, you know, the sound and the music and voices, etc. So I'm gonna risk being maybe a little bit too loud today. But I want to see how it works out, like, throughout playing. And it's only like, what, 8 decibel more? I've been tuning down it a little bit. But let's see. So, I had a mission, a main quest to kill the scorpion, but there are also 2 side quests I have. And if you open the map menu here, you can also questo modo, questo memo, questo memo. And it tells you, well, it shows you the quest, and it also shows you that these quests are both in this area. This one is... okay, this is a Sabutender quest, which gives me the Mikawashi no Kado. Mikawashi. Mikawashi. No idea what that means, but it's a card. And it's a rare monster. If I look at the monster list, I don't think I've killed anything in this area. But these rabbits and these guys, which are these the same ones that I had in the little dungeon. And it's from these enemies here. So there's a rare spawn, a rare rock that comes from these. Okay, now I can actually see our new characters. Going action. So got Gira. Gira is the AoE. That's nice damage. Camus. Get that boomerang out. Slime throw. Those are not slimes, so... oh wow, that's like no damage compared to what Veronica can do. Dean. Got full cast. Good damage. And she sadly doesn't have anything. And she doesn't really any damage anyway. It's just Sukari. Sukara. What is Sukari? Sukara. Which I could use to buff myself up. You could normal attack. What I'm kind of just doing always when I have her this early on, I'm just gonna blind enemies, because that didn't work on either. And then you have also Sylvia in the group to just... I actually need to use the dagger here because he's so weak otherwise. You can see who's the MVP generally in most of these fights, always going to be Veronica. Tatakau. Still the most damage he can deal. These guys have good defense. And an AoE. Let's see how much Gira does compared to Dean. That's nearly the same, because they are weak to fire. And they really have it for him. Why me? Maybe I should consider respecking him to get the AoE skill. Because while Dean is incredibly strong, it's also very inefficient, at least early on, because you don't have that much in terms of stats. This one. Good thing is that it also gives me some experience that I really, really need. Like, I'm saying that I don't even think I have a chance at all to beat the next boss at this level. Is that brutal? I guess this is where you having the fast option for fights just so valuable. Good. Yeah. Yeah. And there's our first password. Boke no shou no aikotoba o shiete moratta. They call it aikotoba. Makes sense. I like the English translation to using the past word because it's, you know, it's of the past, but it's also a password. I like that. It's smart, it's witty. I do wish they would autosave whenever you rest, because I wouldn't have to do it myself. I'm just gonna quote unquote grind these until the one spawns that I need for the quest. Like I said, it's good experience, needed experience. And they're also not too terrible to kill. Maybe I'll do a comparison on damage. So Din 30, 23, so the highest damage was 30 here. So now I blind two of them and they will probably not hit me anymore. I'm not entirely sure what the stat drop is here or what the affliction does. So he definitely just hit. Oh, he wasn't affected. Never mind. Kamiyu, 新しい技を覚えた。リレミット。Already have that on Tenko. That's a little bit pissed. 13 points means gets 5% more accuracy. Pretty good. Then I need another 9. Get this skill. This is a really, really good skill to have. This makes, I think this is when, outside of having against slimes, which are quite common, but still conditional. But once you have this, this makes the boomerangs really viable. Just... because I think what it does is it removes the damage fall off that you get from target to target. So you just hit everything with the same damage, which is quite good. And otherwise, Kamyu has no access to any AoE. So it's either that or you just keep him as a single target specialist in a way. This deals 30 damage, and Dean was also 30. Yeah, 26, 27, 30.
大丈夫ですか？
助かったぜ。
Sylvia.
てや俺たちの勝ちだ。
Level up. 5, and he needs 5 more. I definitely need this skill for the boss. But I can respec for it specifically. If I want to.
あ
Keep out it. Oh, not even well.
そら
お助けします。
てや
You know what I should also be doing? I should be using my seeds early on. I've never really done this. I've always kind of kept them for later, but honestly, the best time to use them is as early as you get them, because that's when you get the most value out of them, because you get the value for all of the game. If you just use them like in endgame or post-game even, for like the last boss, because you were kind of too stingy to use them, then you only get to have their value for the last boss. And her being level 13 earns... Mao Toshi no Waza and Io. Maho Toshi. Toshi. Maho Toshi. What does Maho Toshi mean? I wonder. Get anything new? One. Yosa. Yado Io. Chisana something de Teki Zentai o Kogeki. Io is boom. That's her full AoE. It's light elemental. Light elemental and hits every enemy. Meanwhile, this is fire and hits a group. And then she got Maho Toshi, which is probably a spell seal. Teki Dotsu group no I think that's Fujiru. So yeah, she seals the skills of enemies. That's good. It could actually be strategically pretty useful. If she wasn't the one who also deals the damage, you kind of have to decide which one you want to use. I'm not sure about that really.
てや
And one thing about status afflictions in general is that they always have only a chance to land. So if I wanted to use, because this is one of the best status afflictions in the game, Rukani, because it lowers the defense of the enemy. And this is basically the meta of the game. You lower the defense and then you deal physical damage. But it has a... I'm not sure if it's 50% chance. I think it's a 50% chance. Let me just lose Maho Toshi. Because of the group. Yeah. So now they can't... Well, if it hits, I don't even know if it did hit. If it hits, they can't use their AoE anymore. Which, you know, pretty good. 15, 30 damage.
そら
Bomie. Bomie. 敵一体の素早さをかなり下げる I think. lowering the speed generally doesn't really do that much for you. It might change the order in which things go, but I think in order to really make a difference, like them actually losing a turn because you're so fast that you attack twice when they only attack once, I think enemies have to basically maximally debuffed and your group has to be maximally buffed to have a chance at that. But overall, messing like with speed is generally not worth it. The best thing it might do is make sure that the enemy doesn't skip your turn or the enemy doesn't get a double turn because of RNG, and that is useful against bosses, but overall, I think you have always better things you can do with your turn, especially with Veronica, because she is a main damage dealer. So if this, for example, was on Senya, then I would say good. And overall, I feel like Senya does lag a little bit behind in usefulness compared to others. She's your healer and your defensive buffer. But the most useful stuff is actually on Veronica. Even when it comes to buffs. Yeah. Got a pepped up Tinko. I wonder if I want to keep this and use it for the boss even. It's worth considering.
There.
お怪我はありませんか？ちょっと頑張りました。
You also learned an Atarashi Waza. That does actually mean Waza. I don't want to say the wrong thing. It seems like to me that this should be Waza, but it might just be something else. Let's see. Waza. Where's my... There. I don't think actually this doesn't even mean Waza. I'm an idiot. I think this probably means something like the second kanji. I think is this mon. Yeah, it is mon. Is it Jumon? It is Jumon. Spell, charm, incantation, magic word. Jumon. Okay. 新しい呪文を覚えた。Didn't read what she got. But 3 more for this. Check what she got. What's up? Senior. She got Pihora. 仲間一人の素早さをかなり上げる。So this is Pihora. This is the one that gives you speed. And if you have nothing else to buff, maybe. Just to prevent bad RNG from happening. But yeah, like I said, it's not going to be that important for you, really. It's not impactful enough. Move on. You couldn't enter this area before actually getting the quest for it with the prince, otherwise they wouldn't let you through. It's a weird area here, like with these cloaked mobs kind of about, and then there's runes here with kind of looks like something that comes from the sun and then it does something. Is there? Same as this looks like the face and the hands of some big monster or something. See what he says. Ureimoran という国から来た学者でしてね。Maybe this will be significant later on. Probably not here by coincidence. And see these sleeping enemies here? Those are the ones for which you have the other quests. And they are actually, they're like a mini boss. They are really strong. And I would at first need to have the pep action ready to use on them, otherwise no point. They're really strong. Like for normal enemies, they just kind of spawn here. You need to lose everything, even then they are really hard. That's why I also sleep at during the day. Not gonna get chased by them too easily.
<sighs> ようやく休めそうな場所に出たな。とりあえずここで休んでいくとしよう。サソリを捕まえるのはまた明日ってことで。お、なんだ、あなたも来てくれたのか。見ての通りだ。明日に備えてここでキャンプを張ることにしたからな。
ええ、ここらで休むのは賛成だわ。サソリちゃんは手強いと噂だものね。私たちも戦いに備えて休みましょう。
What an
あな
elegant
たたち
prince.
男2人女2人の4人旅なんてロマンチックじゃない。どうして旅なんかしてるの？
今はまだ全てが明らかになったわけではありませんが、勇者にまつわる伝説、その全ての謎を解き明かすために命の大樹を目指す旅をしているのです。もしかしたら世界に最悪をもたらしたという邪悪の神と戦う日が近い将来訪れるのかもしれません。
Just tell them outright.
ダメよせいにゃ見ず知らずの旅芸人にそんな言葉で話しちゃ。
へえ、みんなの笑顔を奪おうとする邪悪の神ちゃんって悪いやつがこれから復活するかもしれなくって。
邪悪の神ちゃんって。神ちゃん。
あなたたちはそれを倒すために旅してるっていうの？何それ、面白そうじゃない。
こんな話を鵜呑みにするなんてあんた変わってんな。
そういうシルビアはどうなのよ。なんで旅をしているの？
私のことはいいわよ。さあ、明日はサソリちゃんと決戦よ。おしゃべりはこれくらいにして寝ましょう。
He doesn't want to tell us. He has a secret. 怪しい。
なんだよ、もったいぶりやがって。たく、変なやつだぜ。
Alright. Kessenda. So now I think the levels are alright actually. Look at Suyosa 900. And from this one battle I got like 180, so it's like if I get one, if everyone up, if I want to get one more level with these, it wouldn't be too hard. Let me use my seeds first. We have one that is an Inochi no Kinomi. So life seed. Now here's what I feel like doing. I've already talked about this before. You can either use it all in your main, because especially with this challenge, he's gonna be the one who's the most critical to not get down. Or you could use it on Senya, although I wouldn't use it on Senya. You could use it on Veronica. Veronica is probably someone you will always have in your party. Probably. There are the good party compositions that are really strong, but Veronica is very good. Against mobs, she has the AoE. She has a really strong debuff that you will be using a lot. And she's just overall a really good DPS monster. But she's really, really squishy, and against some bosses they are so strong that you can make the good point to not even bring her in, because she just goes down too quickly. She can be easily one-shot. Now, in order to prevent that, you could use all your defensive seeds on her. And I think that's what I like to do. That's what I'm going to be doing here. And she gets 5 points. You could theoretically lose on Senya, but Senya is a little bit more replaceable in a way. There is someone else who can heal. Or you can do, and you don't need her always. Especially because she doesn't really do that much in normal battles. She just lacks the magic power and the spells to really help as much as, for example, Veronica. But it's still good, it's still a decent idea to give her something like that. Okay, what else do we have? We have a Chikara no Tane. Chikara no Tane is... You could give it to Kamyu. You could give it to Tengo. I would say... Kamyu gets really, really strong later on, so I heard. It's not really a spoiler. Kamyu is obviously your kind of a single target specialist, can deal status ailments and all that stuff, and he's your thief, he can steal stuff. Tengo's your all-arounder. He's kind of good at everything. He has some heals, he has some spells, he has a very strong weapon, he can do pretty much everything. And for most of the game, he will probably be your powerhouse. There are other characters that you can get later that also have very good attack that you could give these seeds. But I think I'll just pump it all on him, because at least for now, this will be really useful. And then we have Kyosa no Tane. Kyosa ga skoshi dake tsukattara naku naru. Now, Kyosa, I think, was deftness. And deftness is a stat that is basically only useful on Kamyu. Let's see, I'm gonna look this up really quick. I want to see something. Let's see. Inochi no Kinomi. Oh, that's really nice. Let me... Seed of Deftness. Yosa no Tane. Yosa Tane. Yeah, so Deftness, I think, governs some of the crit stuff, but mainly she already has pretty high Deftness, although she has a lot too, for some reason. It's only one. It's weird. Then we have Tsubayasa. I think Tsubayasa doesn't make that much of a difference. And for some characters, you want to have... I wouldn't want to have speed on your main, here because he is someone who benefits a lot from getting buffs. You don't want him to attack first, you want your buffers to attack first. Like Senya, for example, would be a really good candidate. You could also just equally give them to the people, just so you have, you know, have them around the same value. But I think I keep these for maybe for someone else later. I'm not decided. It doesn't really make that much difference anyway. Then we have Mamori no Tane. Mamori no Tane, kind of same thing as with HP. I'll just give to her because she can profit. She's the most squishy. I want to do that. Then we have Marioku no Tane. I think, I mean, as you can see by the values, there's a clear candidate. You could push his one, but he's just not. Well, Kamyu has some magic, but doesn't really matter. The main has some magic, doesn't matter. She has some magic, doesn't really make that much of a difference. It's either her or another character who also gets some magic later on. And if you have to decide, I think it's her. Just push her magic as high. She's already the magic damage dealer. Then Shinko no Tane, Kaifuku Marioku. And for obviously that's then for her, potentially for him, but honestly. However, there will be spells in the game, very late in the game, that just heal you to full. Like there's a full heal and an omni heal. I don't know who gets these actually. I don't know which one gets these. But if you have these, then your healing power just doesn't matter anymore. Because it heals full anyway. I think it's still the best value to probably give it to Senya again. For throughout the whole game, when you use her, when you have her, she is a healer. So it makes a lot of sense to give it to her. I'll keep it for now. It doesn't really make much of a difference for now. So, but what I also want to do is actually give some healing items to people. So Kamyu, Tenko, give one to Tenko, one to Veronica so she can heal 2. This is an antidote. Let's see what he has first. A normal, 2 antidotes, and some healing, some magic water. That's good. Tenko has some normal herbs. All the healing waters. I'll give 1 healing water. Senya now. Veronica has only 1 healing herb. Senya has a bunch of other stuff I don't really need on her. Healing waters. I wish I had more of the... Wait. This does Goku and heal, so that's a combination. That's pretty good. I'll give that to her. Not that I want to use her for healing, I want to use her for attacking, but sometimes you just have to. What else do we have? Nakama Hitori no Mahi. Mahi? HP ga 60. It's stronger. Mahi must be some kind of effect. Status effect, that is. This does magic waters. And that's all I have really, unless I want to go back and buy some more 50 HP heals if I can. Okay. And then I also need to respec. At least Tenko. 1, 2. Already set. Tenko. I'll also respec him. Veronica is fine. Hers is, I think, also fine. Okay, important that Tenko gets the... How about this? Konshingiri. Konshingiri. I looked this up the other between playing what these things mean. Konshingiri. This is Dioteken skill Konshingiri. Iki itai kiritsuke dai damage. And then I have 11 left. That's enough for 10 more attack power. Soubiji kogeki chikara plus 10. Ryoteiken Soubiji no kogeki chikara ga fueru. And this actually unlocks this skill. Let's see what it is. Freeze Blade. Freeze Blade. So this is... Tsukori de... Teki hitotsu ichi group o kogoe saseru. So this is a... I don't know what the multiplier on this is. I'd have to look this up. But this is an AoE skill. Costs 10 MP, pretty expensive, but it deals ice damage, which is generally, it's a really good skill, and it has a chance to also freeze enemies, which is really strong. And it also has a Renke. You can see under there, that says Renke potential. Renke Ari. Look at this, Renke Ari. Yeah, this is good. It's obviously less inefficient than Bumalashi, and it can also deal less damage on an enemy if they are resistant to frost. This is like the overall, every situation, good thing that scales with your strength. I don't know what this scales with. So yeah. But having this, you have now one thing that deals a lot of damage to a single target. And then Kamyu will get the Viper Fang back. Because that is best damage he can deal to a single target. Still don't have enough points to get the Thanatos Hunter. But I could get the Sleep one as well. I don't think that's really that useful here. Don't need to steal. Bayangiri makes no sense. Veronica, like I said, was fine. She can't really learn anything else other than this one. But I'm not sure the enemy actually uses fire. So I'll just get it for now. In case the enemy does use fire. I'm not sure if it uses fire or earth. But safe. And this could go very, very badly for a long time. Last time I did this, I think I had like 4 or 5 wipes until I got the thing down. It's just that strong. And there's some RNG involved in sometimes when you get hit, you get crit. Someone gets double attacked. Some status effect works or doesn't work on the enemy. There are a lot of things that come into play with these, especially the early bosses, because you don't have the tools really to deal with a lot of situations. Like you can't resurrect a character. If they fall, they're dead, and I don't have any more resurrection items. I only found one leaf and I had to use it. So yeah, that's how it is.
Huh. なんだ、どこにもいないじゃないか。仕方ない。砂漠の殺し屋は僕を恐れて逃げたと父上に報告するとしよう。
There he is. 出た。デスコピオンです。He's a big boy. Oh yeah. He's an angry big boy.
さあサソリちゃんのお出ましよ。死の国の王子様らしいところを見せてあげて。
As if.
もうしょうがないわね。
Alright.
兵士ちゃんたちお坊ちゃんを頼むわ。 さあ行くわよ。
Let's do this for like an hour or so until we get this thing down. Alternatively, I could probably grind out one more level to make it a lot easier. Like the stat gains that you get have a really big impact on the early game. 20 and a really nasty AoE. That's the thing, you have no AoE heals in this game, or in this early stage of the game. That's already really bad. They could probably already reload, but let's just try to go for it, try to do what we can. It's always the best play to just go safe. Can. For him, for example, I think I should actually heal with him. Sadly, I have to heal with her. I want to buff and not heal. Okay, so important here. Bomia doesn't make much sense. Magic Barrier doesn't make much sense for here. Maho Toshi. Juman o Uji. I wonder what this would do if you actually seal stuff away. You also have Ogeki Jumon kara jibun no mi o mamoru. Okay, this is a buff for her. Let me actually try Maho Toshi, because if this can seal the AoE, that would be really good. Slayer of the Sands. But did it say that it doesn't work at all? Okay, that's good. That's really good. Now we can Renke into Scorched Earth, which is incredibly strong. But I think this is one that he can do. Yeah, this is one he can do on his own. Okay, then first I'm gonna go for Viper Fang, because Poison is very strong now. So that's good RNG. He also goes up. No, he is. He is. Okay, that's really good. The next thing that you always want to set up on every boss is Rukani. Looks like a crit. See, 55 damage. You can still use this thing, but 55 damage for a poison tick? And he is debuffed by 2. This is really good. Now I can deal massive damage to this thing because he's debuffed. I have a double damage attack and everyone is healthy enough. So yeah. Onshingiri. 78. See, that's the difference. And everyone is buffed. Oh, this is so good. Now I can Gudenki into Arboria's Blessing. Or into Care Prayer. Nakama Zenin no Kaifuku Chikara to. Something with Mamoru, with defense, or Nagari Ageru. An Arboreal Blessing is Zenin Kizu o CMP. Okay, this Kizu? Oh, yes. Okay, which one do I do? Care Prayer gives you more heals and more defense, and this gives you an auto restore. Veronica no Nonga. Ooh. Double crit chance. I think I'm gonna go with Arboreal Blessing here. Because MP recovery is also really important. This will help so much against the... I should keep him pepped up for now. I don't want to use it right away. I should just Chibaria first. It's poisoned. Chibaria is the best thing to do. 3 damage, not that much, but... Yeah, he couldn't use it. That's so good. I didn't know you could just seal his stuff and get it like this. Okay, now I can probably just... Fire. I can just attack this thing, probably with Hyado. Probably the strongest thing. 7. And now with her, I'm gonna buff up Sukara on everyone. Sukara. What the weird thing is, this thing is actually... Is it slowed down or did it buff itself? Because you have this clock icon on it. Weird. I think I'm gonna do Scorch Earth now, which deals a lot of damage. It's kind of like another poison tech. It's really, really strong. And also reduces some resistances, so it's 33 on top of that. So he deals every turn because of his poison and his... Oh shit. Yeah, that's exactly what can happen. He can just crit you. At least he got this thing off, so it's okay. Although poison doesn't last forever, but this is good damage. Got the sense. Okay. Resistance are also back, so I have to set up everything again. And he can also debuff your whole defense. Let's see what he does have. This, he's still poisoned. Okay, I need to get Rukani. Since I can't res, there's really nothing else I can do. I could use Matasa, which does blind him. Let's try this. That is evil. I know that he can heal it. That's really good. It's basically the only way to heal it with him. But the good thing is that he's blinded now. Already half HP. At least you got some damage. Let's keep going here. Already critical HP. Okay. Good commands. These MP takes are really, really good because this costs 8. 81. Oh. Oh. Okay, good, good, good. It's back to normal. I need... Miss. And I'm out of MP completely. Bad. But I think I should just go for the kill here. He can't have more than 200 HP. Oh, And blinding too. Ooh, gosh. Might be it. I don't even have the MP left. It's the wrong... Why does the game allow that? Shit. Come on, die. Why me? Unlucky. There's just nothing I could have done anyway. This is just the kind of RNG that you get in this fight. He does the crit. But it was overall pretty good RNG. We landed 2 debuffs. And everything else worked really well. Poison first turn as well. Just need to skillfully avoid the random one-shot crits. By just not getting crit. I think this is where the blind is probably the strongest thing you can do. Because that makes it just miss half the time at least. I didn't want to fight these things. You get it? Nice. Was a good attempt. What did I say? Was a really good attempt. Was probably 10% HP, maybe even sub 100 HP. We kind of missed out on a lot of dot ticks from Camus when he died. I can try. Okay. That's pretty good. That's good energy. Okay, so setting up poison first. Unlucky. Then I will set up... I could either just go for the attack here, or I first set up some defense, maybe to not get one shot. Lucani. Worked, nice. And then she should probably do this. That missed. And I'll set up Chibaya. It's not much damage, but it's low, everything counts. And I think there's no point in really sealing this thing because it can one-shot you anyway. And Tenko couldn't survive it. It was only you would have to get really, really lucky with a low. So I'll just shadow him. Damage. Oof. Blinding Tenko is really, really, really bad. So I have no means of healing that. He's not gonna hit it. He's blinded. Can only do Scorch Earth. Its down is also pretty bad. He still can't attack though. He's not gonna miss, he's just gonna waste his MP by doing this. Never mind. At least we got one hit off. Same for him, kind of. Oh. Okay. That could have been a crit. That he actually blocked because I had the skill set up. That's perfect. Now we're at least all healthy again. We're blinded though. Let's see. Magic water Tenko here. Probably the best move. Nice, he did it again. I really want to blind this now. Come on. Yes. We're blind. How long does this last? And one thing is also that I think crits ignore defense. So even if you buff yourself up maximally, it won't make a difference for that. You're gonna hit one shot. You only got him? Oh, on his turn. That's so unlucky. Don't hit anyone. Good. Why didn't he snap him out? Mera is actually more damage. He seems to be weak to fire. Poison is doing so much work here. Again, huh? Yeah. Defense is also back to normal now. But it's getting close. Like I might be killing him. I'll go for damage here. That's kind of where you would really want to know how much HP this thing exactly has. So you could plan your moves around that, but that's, I guess, part of the difficulty. Still alive, huh? Come on, die. Block the fireball. Oh no, we only can't. Come on, die. Phew.
私たちの勝ちよ。
やったー。 1440. And the sad thing is that now Veronica and Camus don't get the experience because they're dead. Dead as hell. Yeah. See how much this would have been? 8 more HP actually prevents the crit one shot if you are full at least.
さて、砂漠のみんなを苦しめるサソリちゃんにはお仕置きをしなきゃね。
お仕置き。
なんだ砂漠の殺し屋といえども全然大したことないじゃないか。
He literally did nothing. Why is he laughing like that?
お前たちいいな。これは僕の手柄だと説明するんだぞ。
I hate this prince. Someone please stab him.
はい、
Bury
もちろん
him
です王子様。
head first.
よし。君のおかげでなんとかなりそうだ。本当にありがとう。
You better pay me for this.
今度こそ虹色の枝の剣は父上に掛け合うから安心してくれ。
Please.
あなた、本当にこれでいいの？こんなやり方で名誉を得ても何も変わらないと思うけど。
僕だって好きでやってるわけじゃない。父上や国民の期待を裏切らないためにはこうするしかないんだ。
What a noble prince. Like, he's beyond help. I really love what Sylvia just said to him. Like, in the way he said it, like, 本当のいいのか? Nothing will change if he always keeps doing this, always pretends. Then the next task will come that is for him insurmountable, and then he will need someone else to help him, and the cycle goes on until he is being found out. And he just says, yeah, I'm just doing this so I don't have to betray the trust that people give me. Like, what? And he gets it. It's like, you're beyond help, dude.
そう。あなたはそうやって生きていくのね。
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Can't force people.
お前たち行くぞ。
They either get it or they don't.
これで正しかったのかわからねえな。あんたの言う通り、あの平凡王子はこのままじゃ何も変わらない気がするぜ。
でも、あの子は今の自分に満足していない。何かきっかけさえあれば、もしかしたら負けるかもね。
Maybe.
私はそろそろ行くわ。旅の途中で見かけたら挨拶ぐらいしてね。それじゃ、アデュー。
Dude. He helped out a lot, actually. Like, I think the damage that he dealt over the course of the fight with the debuff, doing like 30 damage per attack, and probably contributed 200. And he has the ability to heal the status affliction, the confusion, but he didn't do it consistently, sadly, which made me a little bit frustrated. We got every item in this area. I'll look at the shiny spots. There's one that is only there at night. Fine. And I can actually... What? Yeah, this is one of the, or was one of the more challenging bosses, one of the harder bosses, specifically because it's early game, and this is also technically the first boss in the game, because the other enemies that we had were kind of just trash enemies. I think I have to revive them first. Ikikai raseru. I don't have... Oh, they don't have to. They... Okay, they went up on their own. Cool. And the other two were just trash enemies, and this is the actual real first boss, and this is a common thing that bosses will have 2 turns. They will be allowed to attack twice, and technically they could just attack the same person twice and just outright kill them if they want to. It's part of the RNG, or what you've seen here, they can just crit you and you die. Can happen if it hits your main character, there's just nothing you can do. But it happens very rarely, and I mean, there are things you can do about it, like I actually prevented a crit attack by using my blade guard, which was pretty dang lucky that I still had it up and that he attempted this attack on me. So that went really well. And there's also a spell that Senya learns that prevents one-shots. So that's another way to prevent crit deaths like that. So you can play around it, which is good. Just fight the shades, see what they can do. Oh yeah, I also want to probably... Do I want to spec back into... Actually, I might not want that, because this is pretty good skill to have. And it also kind of defines the meta now. Like, all the approaches to the bosses sadly will be quite similar in a way. That you want to set up your poison, your dot. If you have, you want to set up your Scorched Earth, because it deals like half the damage that dot does. It's pretty strong, it's pretty good. Then you want to set up defenses, like, depends, magic defense, physical defense on your characters. There are other things that you can buff, like specific elemental resistances you can buff up. Just teleport to the kingdom. So all your buffs, you want to get their debuffs, and you always want to get up your sap, your Lukani. And then you use Tenko, Kamyu, or other characters that are physical damage dealers to just deal the most damage you can within the window of the debuff. That's kind of how you kind of get the most damage out. We'll see this in the coming fights.
見よ、我が国の王子ファーリスがあの砂漠の殺し屋を捕らえてきたぞ。
ありがとう、ありがとう。
勇敢な王子がいる限りサマディ王国の未来は安泰だ。さあファーリスよ、民に言葉を。
皆さんの声援を力に変えることで、この通り砂漠の殺し屋を倒し捕らえることができました。ありがとう。今後もこの国の王子としてより精進を重ね。
Stab him! Crit him!
みんな慌てるな。俺たちには王子様がついてる。王子様がきっと魔物を倒してくれるはず。おお、確かにファーリス王子がいれば安心だ。
どうしたファーリスよ。お前ほどの実力があれば問題なかろう。民の期待に応えるのだ。
Aww. Now they all find out.
僕には無理です。
はい。
はい。
騎士たる者。
信念を決して曲げず、国に忠説を尽くす。
騎士たる者。
どんな逆境にあっても正々堂々と立ち向かう。
そう、あなたは騎士の国の王子。卑怯者で終わりたくなければ戦いなさい。
Fucking based.
僕は騎士の国の王子。
Oh, oh. F's in chat for the prince. What a chat.
やればできるじゃない。かっこよかったわよ。
あなたは。
いい？騎士の国の王子様なんだから、いかなる時も騎士道を忘れちゃダメよ。
待ってくれ。騎士道に深い理解があるようだが、そなたは一体何者なのだ。
ただの旅芸人？
ただのしがない旅芸人よ。
ただのしがない旅芸人。I don't know what しがない means. But yeah, just it's such a good scene. And the prince learned something, manned up at least a little bit.
父上、母上というわけで、レースを走ったのも魔物を捕らえたのもこの方だったのです。
And he even tells the truth now. I can respect that. At least he has balls now.
顔を上げよ、ファーリス。わしたちはこれまで等身大のお前を見ずに見合わぬ重圧を与えていたようだな。謝らなければいけないのはわしらの方やもしれん。これからは妻と共に考えを改めるとしよう。
That's the funny thing. He's never once let his wife talk. He's just talking, he just stands there looking kind of half worried about him all the time.
だが先ほどの戦いで見せた勇気はなかなかのものだったぞ。防戦一方とはいえ騎士の国の王子としてふさわしい戦いだった。あの勇気があればいつかはお前の目標であるデルカダールの猛将グリーグ殿の隊にも入れるであろうな。
Well, maybe. Let's not get ahead.
俺たちを追ってた。ところで父上、一つお願いがあります。ここにいる皆さんは虹色の枝を求めて旅をしているのです。お世話になったこの方たちに国宝である虹色の枝を差し上げてもよろしいでしょうか。
虹色の枝か。そいつは無理だな。行商人に売り払ってしまったからの。
He sold it. Why would he sell his treasure? It's like the nation's treasure.
虹色の枝を売り払ったですって。あれは国宝ですよ。どうして売ってしまったんですか。
バカモン！なぜ今年のファーレス杯があそこまで豪華にできたと思っている？すべてお前のためにやったんだぞ。
そんな。
すまないことをしたな、旅の者よ。虹色の枝を売った行商人だが、ここより西のダーハルーネに向かうと言っておったぞ。
ダハルネ。
これを持っていけば西の関所を越えることができる。ダーハルーネで情報を集めるがよい。
サマディア王の証明 show something. Come on. 手に入れた。
すまない。虹色の枝のことは本当に知らなかったんだ。この通りだ。許してくれ。代わりと言ってはなんだが、サマディの騎士が使う伝統的な修行道具、このボウガンを受け取ってくれ。
ボウガン。
このボウガンで遠くにいる魔物を撃つと怒って近寄ってくることがあるんだ。うまく使えば効率よく戦いの経験が積めるぞ。
This is kind of really useless. I don't even know why they left it in the game. There used to be like a mini game or something. You could find target like marks that were hidden all over the map, and you would just shoot them and I assume you get something for that.
何か困ったことがあったらまたサマディに来てくれ。この僕がいつでも力になるからな。
Like father, like son. Yeah, so this thing is kind of useless. You can shoot enemies from afar to pull them to you, but there's just no need for that in the game. Is he confessing to her? How is she? No. Guess not. Okay. There's nothing here. There was one interesting book left. And outside in the city there were 4 treasures. I still haven't done the quests. I guess that's next on the agenda. This was our little adventure in this kingdom with the prince that couldn't do anything on his own. But it was cool. It's a nice little mini story where you have like a little bit of a moral behind, and obviously the main quest is being pushed, so we are still looking for this thing. The what does it translate to in English exactly? It's the branch of the Inochi no Taiju.
待ってたわよはーい
何しに来たんだ。まだ俺たちに用があるのかよ。
He really knows how to make an entrance.
もう決まってるじゃないの。私もついていくわ。命の大樹を目指す旅に。そして邪神ちゃんを倒すのよ。
おいおい、冗談じゃねえ。いきなり出てきて何言ってんだ。俺たちの旅は遊びじゃねえんだぞ。
もちろん遊びでついていく気はなくてよ。旅芸人として世界中を回ってたくさんの笑顔と出会ったわ。でもね、それと同じくらい魔物に苦しめられている人たちの悲しみにも出会ったの。私の夢はね、世界一大きなホールを建てて、そこで盛大なショーをして世界中の人々を笑わせることよ。でもみんなから笑顔を奪おうとする邪神ちゃんがいたら、その夢も叶わなくなるじゃない。だからあなたたちの旅の目的は私の旅の目的でもあるってわけ。それじゃあみんなこれからもよろしくね。
That's good reasoning, honestly. And there you go. We acquired Sylvia. Great.
やれやれ、相変わらず強引なやつだぜ。
で、あなたたちとりあえずこれからどうするの？
命の大樹への鍵となる虹色の枝、その枝を手にした商人を追ってダーハルーネの町に行こうかと思います。
なるほどね。でもあそこは港町。もう船に乗って海に出てるかもね。そしたらどうやって追うつもりかしら？
そうですね。その場合は定期船を乗り継いでいくしか。
ダメダメ。定期船なんかじゃあまりにも時間がかかりすぎるわ。いつまで経っても追いつけないわよ。
それじゃあどうしろっていうの？
船で行けばいいのよ。自分たちで自由に使える船でね。そう、私が持ってる船。
Nice.
セルピアさん、すごいわ。やっぱりただものじゃないと思ってたのよ。その船お借りしてもいいですか？
もちろんよ。仲間じゃないの。それじゃあ私の船が止まっているダーハルーネに行くわよ。ダーハルーネはここより西。さあ出発。
Shoot. Alright, good stuff. Before I'll end this part, let us go over Sylvia's orb, which is a lot bigger than the others. If you look at it, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees. The first one is the same as the heroes and Kamius. It's the Katate Kenskiru. Starts out again Kaengiri, some attack plus, some crit stuff, sword guard, dragon giri, metal giri, and 6. So it's the exact same thing. But there is one more skill hidden here that is kind of in the between his sword and his next one is the whips. Matsushi skill is the same one that Veronica gets. So again, Dasen something. I have to look these up too, what this means. Dasen, we got some attack power, we got more attack power, so it's not as much as Veronica gets, but he gets more skills. He has 4 skills. And Veronica-chan has 3. She has Nemori, Ainomuchi, Shibari. Oh, that's actually the 4th here. Dasen. And Sylvia gets 5 then. He has Rasen, Supaku Shoto. Spark shot? Shoto. Spark. I think this means spark shot. Let's see, it hits a group. Ni me o kurameseru mabushi hikari no muchi. Okay, so this is I think it's a blinding one. So blinding one, Rasen is just the damage. Shibari is the same, Nemuri is the same, and Ainomuchi is the same. So it's the same, he gets one more. Which does make him better. He is, I think, the best whip user in the game. And you can make an argument for using all these different things. You have good access to different kinds of skills here that give you status stuff, which is nice. Then, just as Kamyu, he also gets knives. So he starts out with a +5, 2% crit, +10. Then a sleep dagger, the Hypnose Hunter, Viper Fang, and Thanatos Hunter. So it's the same that Kamyu gets, and he probably also gets dual wield here. Maybe, I don't know. So Kamyu is the better dagger user overall, but it is viable to go dagger with him because Viper Fang is very strong against bosses. Next one would be his Kyokugei. Otome. Kyokugei. I think Kyokugei is his showmanship. He learns Hifki something. That's a flame skill. Hio fuite hiki itai o kogeki suru. It's kind of good early on, but it's a really weak fire skill. But you can use it with any weapon, so it's universal skill. It's okay. Okay. Then this is Sokomi Tori no Miho. Oh yeah, that's wait, isn't this the skill? This skill is incredibly powerful. This is a heal that heals Mahi. I don't know what the second one is. But it heals quite a few of status afflictions. Let me actually check this real quick. I want to say this thing. I have not looked up all the status afflictions and the kanji. It's on the list. But this is very, very specific kanji knowledge. Like, this is kind of this game knowledge that you need to have. Sylvia. Let's see. Sylvia's learned swords, knives. Oops. Oh yeah, it's called lithness in English. The showmanship is the other one. Let's see. I don't even know what lithness means in the first place. The gracefulness of a person or an animal is flexible and subtle. Okay, makes sense. So yeah, the first one, sobering slap. That's the same thing that he did in the fight. It removes sleep, confusion, beguilement, or paralysis. It's the... I don't know if there's anything else. It's the best cleanse you have in the game, and something you definitely want to have for him, and a big reason why you want to take him in the party, especially for certain fights, boss fights. Also for non-boss fights. This gives you 10 charm. Now, charm is really important on Sylvia, because he has a healing skill, which is this one. Hustle Dance. Heals about 70, but heals the whole group. And this is the earliest group heal, AoE heal, that you have access to. And the good thing about this is, I can show you this maybe later. You unlock this here. And then I need 6 more points to get Meda Pani Dansu, which is a Umana Odori de. I think that's it's either beguilement or confusion. Essentially does the same. Get some speed here, more of this, deftness, and then something hidden here. Same for this. There's a mix of dagger and here. I don't remember what this is. Then the last tree is his showmanship or otome. 40 charm, really strong because this thing scales with charm. Then he has a Poison Kiss? Poison Kiss. Poison Kiss. It's a skill that poisons enemies, as it says. And Amori Shot, which is also a single target skill that can beguile and deals some decent damage actually. Is this? No. Migi? Hidari te ni mo. Okay, this is his dual wield. For whips, I think he can he have 2 whips? He can have a whip and a shield, that's what it is. This is his dual wield. So how do you want to spec him? In terms of usefulness, I think this skill is mandatory, and this skill, like I said, is the earliest heal you have. It costs a lot of MP. But as you've seen with this boss that I just did, it has AoE, and all the following bosses also will have AoE skills, which makes them quite dangerous until you have someone who can AoE heal as well. Otherwise, you're just not going to be able to keep up with the damage that they deal to you. So you want to unlock this before you get the next boss. Otherwise, outside, it's not as important, outside of combat. But this is important. And picking up this 40 charm is pretty good. You get a dance in the process, and you also want to pick up this. This one is pretty weak. This one is tap dance. It does Kawashi Ritsu o Ageru. This is all so specific. I hate it. Okay, it doubles his evasion chance for 2 turns. Which is, you know, it's okay. And showmanship, poison kiss, deals light damage, has a chance to... decent chance of landing poison, which is actually really nice because... well, actually, isn't this a difference? There is poison in the game, which is what this skill does. And there is what Viper Fang does, which is... oh, it also has poison. Okay. So instead of Viper Fang, I think you could just take this, but I'm not quite sure if it's actually the exact same effect, because I don't know if I remember there were 2 different kinds of poisons in it. Not sure. But yeah, this here is actually pretty decent to get, because I think it also scales with your charm stat. That's Amore. And it can inflict confusion, and it depends on, yeah, damage's output is heavily impacted by charm. Same as the poison kiss. Hustle dance is good. Puddle dance can leave confusion, which is pretty good. And actually, there are 2 skills here that are also really worth picking up. So I think instead of focusing on a weapon for him here, the best play is to pick up his best utility and then go for the rest. And you could either go with this, we could actually also just go with the Thanatos, because then you have a good source of damage for him. You could also go for the whips, kind of for a similar reason. You can also, for example, mix and match this a little bit. You can go for these whips, these whip skills to inflict the status of ailments, and then you could either use him or Kami with one of these here to deal the 6 times damage. Like, this is a good combination, but he is incredibly point hungry, as you can see, because this is so good to get. There are some stats you want to get. You want to get this, and this is like 14, 18, 14, 10. So he really only starts to shine later on, and I feel like early on, and if we actually take a look what he has now, Tsuyosa, he has Ryoimi, which is a fairly weak pot that you can put on. You put it on your target and it deals every turn something. It's just, I don't know, the game isn't really made for something like this unless it's AoE, and he doesn't even get an AoE version of this. Then you have Zameha, Nakama Zenin no Onaosu. Zameha is... I think it wakes them all up from sleep. Yeah, Nemori Onaosu, of course. Then you have Baishu. Nakama hitori no kogeki chikara o kogeki? Chikara o sukoshi ageru. Okay, this is actually a buff. That's really good. Yora is Tsubayasa. Pyorim is Nakama Zenin Tsubayasa. And Bomie is one enemy Tsubayasa. So he can buff your speed of one character. He can buff your attack. He can buff your speed of one character a lot, Kanadi. Or he can buff the speed of the whole group. So there's a level of heals here. A sleep heal. And the speed debuff. That's what he gets. And then he gets this. Tokomi. So what he is, essentially, he is an off healer in a way. Although he gets a really strong heal. He is a buffer. And there's a little bit of debuffer. And he also has some unique attacks, but it's also kind of focused on, you know, status afflictions, because they have a dagger, he can have a whip. So the way you use him, and he's also pretty dang tanky. Look, he's 120 HP. He's not even close to anyone else. He's also level 15, which suggest that I should have been level 15 for this. Holy shit. And if you look at his stats, he has Kaifuku Marioku is 61 compared to 88 for Senya. And he has 43 Marioku Kogeki, which is, you know, is on the same level as the others. So it's not as good as Veronica, but he can also deal some damage there. And he's kind of like a mix of all these things. He's tanky, he has status stuff. He's kind of like, even like a little bit of like a heart of the party. He has some, although I don't like his heal over time that much, but he gets a group heal really early on if you unlock it. That's what I think you should do. And then he gets stuff that gives like status, and he definitely has, I think he's a little bit underwhelming at first when you get him. Like now, you don't use him much. But as the game progresses, he gets better and better so much that I probably always have him in the party. I'm not quite sure. Do I always take him in the party? Really, really often, because he had so many good things. And since he's also an off healer, against bosses you might just put him in instead of someone else. Or you can kind of slot him in for Kamyu after you get your poison off. So he's definitely good. He has a role, but he really only starts to shine later on. Early on he's kind of like, okay, he has some very specific things that make him good, but he's not like overall as good as your main or Veronica for damage. Senya is the better healer. But don't... I made the mistake in my first playthrough that I kind of didn't really consider him anything. He kind of had something underwhelming, but then I realized what he had in his kit. I just realized, wow, he's really good. But yeah, that's it for now. Sorry for all the rambling about this stuff. I think it's kind of important to go over what you can do with the characters, what their role is in the party, how you can skill them, and we will go back and forth. And this is kind of the way, as also in terms of cadence of the game, you might have noticed there's like always one part that is story heavy. This was the last one where I did all the stuff, the race, and talking to the prince, and seeing how things pan out, and then you go out into some kind of dungeon or somewhere, fight, and you fight a boss. And I think that's kind of how the game does things. At least that's what I've noticed in the early game. But yeah, enough rambling. Thanks for hanging. And we'll be saving up here. And I'll be back for the next part. Also, I'll be removing... I had this series already started before, but without any commentary, and that's why I thought I would put it back up. And this is the exact spot I was before. So I'll be removing all of these. These will be up instead. And yes, until next time, bye.